least I
attempt
hope
number
so.
3.
Awesome. All right, here we are. The only thing is you guys just won't see all the webcam stuff that's happening, but we're all here.
I
We
guess
And
still
it's like
see
I
that's all
said
that
before,
matters.
yeah.
Cool. So now I can see. So Vitaly, where you can go from where you left off. You're in soft image, and you're bringing all your mesh and geo in here.
Yeah.
One question I wanted to ask too is quickly was how do you get? There, I know there's obviously a ton of mesh in here.
Let's see how much. I think there's right now 34 million
Oh
polygons,
my
and that's before
goodness,
subdivision.
that's
So
before
like if I take,
subdivision.
let's say, it's before, like for example, like you see this color right here.
Yeah.
This is a model from Moy, so you can see that the topology is not all nice and clean because like what I did is like I cut things with like booleans in Moy, right?
Yeah.
But there are a lot of parts that are still like very,
Wow.
production friendly SFDs. Like so, for example, this right here is like classic quads because I
Yeah.
wanted like specific kind of shape here. So I'm always kind of go back and forth depending on like what kind of final result I need. So that really, so you always kind of decide what do you think would be best to describe a certain shape. So I'd say like maybe 50% of this model is also B. So like if we take a muscle, let's say we're gonna hide this plate, and yeah, you can see it here. So this, let's say this portion right here, right? So this started as a simple block out in ZBrush,
Okay.
and then I used Zero Mesher to get the kind of a nicer topology of it, and then I brought it in XSI where I can actually do something like this. And the thing about XSI, which is this software subimage, right, that
Yeah.
I could do a lot of modification in topology just by adjusting the flow of the edges. And
Polygons.
I can actually do like a quick example. So for example, you see there's like these things right here, like you got a lot of nice negative space in terms of just like patterns and stuff. So it's not all like one
Yeah.
pattern. And to do that stuff in ZBrush, to me, like it's much harder
Yeah. I was thinking.
because
I was wondering if you were doing it in ZBrush. So you're using.
no,
You're,
I'm doing it here, and I think I
interesting.
just selected like a super heavy model, and I tried to subdivide it. Like I think I selected a CAD file, like so it's probably gonna freeze. I'm trying to subdivide like a 2 million polygon.
Wow.
Right.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
Crazy.
And I
No.
press plus twice.
Oh
Shouldn't crash,
man.
but it's probably gonna take a second. But I'll go to this file right here to the head
It's
here,
so much
and you can
stuff.
see it here. What is that?
It's so much stuff, Vitaly. Please stop being so awesome. This is
So
crazy.
this spine right here, this is from Moy 3D, right?
Awesome. Mo
Like,
is your
wow.
go-to, right? Because
For mechanical stuff, yes. Like if it's something you would, intend to machine out of like a solid part of aluminum, so like a CNC, then it's much easier to do this stuff in Moy. So like for example, like this part would be the part of the tank, and you can see it's really sharp, and all the transitions are kind of Boolean based.
yeah,
So that stuff is very easy to do. That stuff much faster too.
it's a pretty heavy scene, and it's doing pretty good job going through it too, huh?
Yeah, like what they have like for every for all of you guys Moy users right here. Like if you go to options and view,
Yeah.
there is this mesh angle, and basically since it's NURBS, you can make it very high. So let's say like 32 degrees, and it's gonna tessellate your geometry in real time in such a way that it's gonna be like faster. So let's say like you see how
And
this is
hotkeys,
all
I can hear the
angular.
hotkeys. I can hear them. That sounds great.
It's not me actually.
No?
Yeah.
Must be Mohammed typing away. But it
Like
has
you can make
hotkeys though, right? Which
Just
is
like,
great.
all right, guys, I listened to you.
1 second. Yeah, so going back to wow, I froze. Sorry guys.
I hope we're not gonna get banned from Twitch for all the sexiness that we're just witnessing.
Yeah, this is incredible. So the creative process for you is like you don't even draw on paper or sketch your ideas out anymore, right? You've already kind of understood your tools to the form where it's like you're able to just dig right in and then have the results as you go through it.
Yeah, I'm trying to start with 3D because just it's faster. I don't want to waste any time like doing any sketches. And if I need to do a sketch, I'll just do a very simple block out and 3D.
Okay.
And I do it both like in XSI and also ZBrush because that just you can. Okay, that's gone. It's good now. All right, so you did subdivide it, this whole section into
Wow.
an 8 million polygon piece. It didn't crash. That's good. and now I'm going back.
How
Right.
much RAM do you use again? You have some kind of like ungodly amount of RAM.
I have 192 gigs of RAM,
Yeah.
so that helps.
Yeah, that's just a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, I tried like a billion
All
polygons.
good. All good.
Yeah, it's not a big
It
deal.
works. It
The thing
works.
I love about you, dude, is like you just like, hey, I'm just gonna do it, and then I'm not gonna mess around. I'm just gonna do it right. You know, it's like when you built your machine for Octane, you're like, I'm just gonna make the best beast machine. I'm like, okay, I appreciate that. Yeah.
Nice. Thanks, man.
No, it's awesome. It's really cool because it's inspiring. Because a lot for me, like in my career, it's like I would kind of like take baby steps where I feel like you're just like, I'm a step over you over here, and I'm gonna go over and just keep going further. And I think you've invested so much in yourself that it's kind of like, how could you fail if you invest so much in yourself, right? It's like you're taking the risk and investing the money and the time and the energy to be the best that you can. And
Thanks, guys. Well, you inspire me like to do all that stuff. Like I'm seeing you guys been using like dual or quadro or like four video cards machines. So
yeah,
then I saw like the benefit of GPU based rendering in terms of speed. So like, all right, let's give it a try.
yeah,
But then the thing is like for me, what made it the thing to kind of a no brainer is like the only way for me to be faster in terms of rendering than CPU is when you have more cards. So
Yeah.
that's why.
we give a shout out to Sebastian for building your
Yes.
epic machine. Sebastian's a friend of ours.
Yeah, he's
He's
a wizard.
yeah, we can share his information with you guys if you guys need it. I don't know if I hopefully he's okay with that, but he builds amazing machines. He's building a. Did you see that picture of Maciej? He's building
How
like
many GPUs do you have again?
me.
No,
Vitaly.
Vitaly.
What is that? Sorry, I
7.
didn't get it.
How many GPUs you have
Oh,
again?
7. Yeah, I got 1080s.
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
7 to 8.
It's all in one machine, right?
Yes.
Also, you're using like water blocks and stuff.
Yeah. It's
Sick.
it's super quiet too.
Yeah.
And I
Nice.
wanted to migrate to it, but now I keep it like as a separate machine. So I want to like turn it on like every night, maybe for a few hours, just to render.
Hmm.
And that kind of helps too, because like I can while I'm rendering, I can still work on this machine.
Yeah, that's
So
awesome.
this is kind of a modeling box or rendering keyshot, because this has better Xeons, so I can like draw a keyshot.
Do you still use
Yeah.
Keyshot frequently, or do you find Octane to be your new thing?
So now it's like 80% Octane. I still do keyshot for like some turntables because you can like make it very quickly
Yeah.
for product and stuff. On a recent project, I did beauty shots in Octane and turntables and animation in Keyshot. Also, Keyshot got the motion blur, so you can do a lot of really cool stuff. Like I did some aircraft designs where you could show the propeller motion blur,
Awesome.
and stuff. It just looks really good and super fast and super easy to set up. So this right here, this portion right here is kind of a good example how you can use together like CAD and also sub-D. So this portion right here, this plate, Rupert wanted to have a chest plate more like kind of a sporty, almost like part of the sporty bike, you know, but kind of blended with the more harsh, like triangulated, armored, like CNC looking core part, right?
Yeah, it's
And
awesome.
this is how you can. Okay, I'm not gonna try to make something like this in Moi, because these kind of transitions you could do this with lofting and stuff, but this would be a much longer setup. Sorry, not lofting, but with the network, with networking.
Right.
So you can like basically build a whole net
Grenades.
in nerves. Yeah, and then kind of just blend them together. But with Sabi, it's much easier for me. I've been doing like Sabi for more than 10 years, so it's just easier for me. But some people do that stuff in CAD, so it's more like, what are you comfortable with?
Sick. So sick.
Yeah,
So
so,
these are-
many details, so many. So when you're designing this and putting this together, so you spoke with Rupert and you're saying I really want to make the, because this is a dream project for all three of us, obviously, because the original content is just amazing, right? And so
Right.
when you have the chance to make this, you're just like, okay, I'm going all out. I'm going fully, like I'm gonna do anatomically correct. I'm gonna do interesting new like designs. When you're going through this and making all this information and all this, because like there's different strategies, like we all have a different strategy based on like
Right.
our approach, right? Like for me, it's
Yeah.
when I first started working on Ghost in the Shell, I was primarily using Cinema 4D on a very light level, and then like photoshopping just a ton. But
Yeah.
towards the end, I was like full on like I was full on Cinema 4D and Octane and just going crazy with that. So my own path changed quite a bit. But for you, did you know right ahead when you had the conversation with Rupert, like, I'm gonna make like the most insane
So
body?
here's something that was kind of also discovered that I would love to share with everyone in terms of whenever you want to on a project, you want to make something that it's gonna be like it's gonna be a lot of work and it's gonna be complex in terms of detail, and you're not gonna be able to just do it all in one day, but you want to be able to just keep doing it at your own pace and try to make as detailed and kind of as good as work as you can. So there's this strategy that you can call it vertical slice. It's similar to vertical slice to like video games development, and you try to make like a very quick block out to show an overall proportions, right? But then you take a portion of it and you just refine the hell out of it, like a small portion. That way you can show what would be the whole model in terms of the quality and the level of finish and the final style
Smart.
when it's done. But that way, if you can do this early on and you can gain trust from whoever's in charge, whether it's director or production designer, then you're kind of set for the rest of the project in terms of like peace of mind and being able to work at your own pace. Because that was what happened at Ghost in the Shell. Like I started with the kind of overall block out, and then realized, oh shit, there is no way I'll be able to. Because the idea is, when you're in movies, you want to be able to show something every day. And I was on a project 3 days a week, and you need to show something
You make
every day.
everybody look lazy when you do that. Even people like a beast like Maciej.
I was saying I got so much slack for fucking. It's just like I would send an update and I would get an answer. That's it.
Yeah, you're destroying us, Vitaly. Yeah. He's all nah.
So let me just show like what I mean. So for example, let's say when I mentioned this a little bit on social media, but basically at the beginning, the major skeleton was more organic in nature, like in its style. It was much more bio-inspired, much more anatomical. And Rupert thought that to make a more of a shocking contrast to audience and tell a better story, it would be awesome that if the skeleton would be much more mechanical in nature and aggressive and angular and just more military. So that way, when you see what she's inside, like, they would be like, oh shit. So on outside, she's this pretty girl, and on inside, she's nothing like human, right?
Yeah.
While keeping a very realistic anatomy. So for example, this is very, very much human, right?
Yeah.
And we went through this whole process. So this was entirely complete. Like you can see the feet. This is actually a good example. So I made this feet.
Do you do ZBrush first and then bring it after you Z-remesh? You bring it into Moy, or not Moy? Actually, do you bring it into Moy and then?
So this was before I used Moy. So this is entirely ZBrush and exercise.
Oh, okay, awesome.
Yeah, and I switched to Moy. I think like right in the middle of the project as my kind of a go-to tool.
Yeah.
And so basically after this design, I went. Had another conversation with Rupert, and he convinced me it would be good to have a different kind of skeleton. And this is when I decided to try that kind of a vertical slice approach, where I started with, let's see. So like I started basically, this is the first thing I sent him. Like, okay, this is the the chest, and we start build stuff on top. And here's the pelvis. And I didn't even show the whole thing, but because I was already on the project, and he kind of could tell, like, and had the imagination what this would grow into.
Yeah.
He just had trust, and I just I just went from here, and then okay, here's the spine, and like this is how like I build entire skeleton. And also like he mentioned a few things that are actually also really helpful, and I guess this is like credit goes to the director Rupert, that he was able to imagine that. Like he would mention, hey, let's introduce negative space into the bone so she doesn't look like like a human skeleton is underneath. So things like that I thought were really cool ideas that I really liked, and I tried to just do as best as I can. So after that skeleton, I just tried to take some of the muscles that I already made for the previous version as a quick test. And Rupert liked it, and I just kind of went from there and tried to really refine that to what we have over here, where like each muscle has like kind of a tendon section, and the internal, like you got this meshing.
So what's the process with doing that? Because that was something I was really curious about.
This
so you
right
have
here?
your edge flow, and then what you do, like some sort of like extraction and then removal.
Yeah, I can show real quick. So imagine this part right here will become a muscle, right?
Yep.
And but also kind of imagine I made this in ZBrush, right?
Okay.
I'm just gonna make it faster. So for example, we made something very, very intricate, and all I just did, like I took a cube, right?
Okay.
And I extruded like few sides. So I'm gonna subdivide it once, right? So let's say now I have this kind of sausage-looking thing.
That's the
And
best
I'm
looking
gonna,
Vitaly sausage ever.
yeah, and we're gonna
The
twist it
Vitaly sausage.
in more like organic, in a little bit more organic way, right?
Sure.
And I'm doing this so I can show you that edge flow, that tendon thing.
Yeah.
So okay, we got this thing right here. And so what I'm usually trying to do is to get an even topology. And this is what's really cool with zero mesh. In ZBrush, you can get it by just zero meshing. But you can also use relax. So if I relax this a little bit, and before this, I'm gonna do supporting edges. So once it's subdivided, it stays, it keeps the overall form.
Like even
So
flow.
now if I relax, it's a little bit more, even.
Yeah.
And now let's say if I do something like this, when I select edges and I delete it, and I can delete this too, we get a much more consistent flow, right?
Gotcha.
So for example, I'm gonna add an extra edge loop here and then subdivide this whole thing right here. So
Cool.
if I'll select all the vertices right now, and I shrink my selection, dude, what's wow, my
Your hotkeys switching up.
yeah, is it because of Skype? Some of my hotkeys don't
Maybe.
work. Yeah.
No, better not be from Skype. That's weird. It shouldn't. Do.
Okay, so anyway, so here's the selection, right? So if I bevel all the vertices,
Yeah.
and I increase the distance to a point that it becomes it's higher than the threshold of the distances between the points,
Oh, that's clever.
it'll auto weld.
That's awesome.
So now if I convert this into polygons,
Yeah.
and then I shrink, and now I can like deselect this. So this was like a half of my
That's smart,
actually,
man.
well, not have like 80% of my work on the muscles on the Ghost in the Shell was done like this.
Yeah. Then you extrude it.
So like look how really quick it is. So I'm now gonna freeze this, and I'm gonna do like a negative push real quick. Actually, let's do 0.2. And what I can do is I can select adjacent edges.
Yeah.
So I can like do this kind of stuff, which is supporting edges, right? And now
Damn, soft image. Why
Yeah,
are
I
you so
know.
good?
Give me some soft image, man. Yeah, this is great.
then okay, let's do this maybe.
That's
I
why
can,
you
like,
still use it, right? I mean, even
yeah,
though
there's
it's not
just
around
some
anymore.
tools that are like I've never seen any other software like do the same thing.
Yeah.
So now let's subdivide. I
Like
got this,
subdivide it, yeah.
and I
That's
can like
great.
keep going with this like more and more like in terms of like details and like
Sure.
what kind of style I want. But overall, this is the idea, right? And you can keep going with all kinds of things and.
That's cool. So it's all about like the edge flow and then edge easiness and everything too, which is
Yeah, so
interesting.
edge flow and trying to keep the topology somewhat like relaxed and even without like sharp transitions.
Yeah.
Also, the tools, everything you want to use like should be on hotkey. So like never, if you have to go to like menu, that's a fail. Like you want to use.
I love it. Yeah. Because you do. I mean, you're so fast, and I think a big part of what makes you fast. I've seen you work, and I know how you are with your hotkeys, and you're just like, brah, 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 you're like Mozart, like tapping the piano. That's very important to you, right? Like having that workflow.
Yeah, I
So
think
it's
that's
just
that's the only way I think to really concept in 3D, because when you, let's say if you're sketching in Photoshop or on paper, right?
Yeah.
By the time you have an idea, by the time you draw like or sketch an idea, that kind of moment of inspiration is already gone. So
Yeah.
the goal is really to keep always, like be just only one step behind from that moment of inspiration. So you feel inspired, you feel compelled to do like something like this,
Yeah.
and you want to be able to try it right away, and especially when you're not sure about it, because if you're not sure about it, if you try it and it sucks, you just want to undo it or delete it right away.
Yeah.
That way, like things become like really, really fast. Like this weird, like super weird looking shape. I don't even know.
It's like an alien
Like
head.
it actually might work for like cooling.
Yeah.
Like if you want like increase the surface surface area. Anyways,
Surface
so
area,
stuff
yeah.
like this.
And you're
like,
constantly thinking about imaginative solutions to things. When you were
Yeah.
designing the anatomy for these different body parts, did you have anatomical like structures that you referred to of like, do you have books or references? Like, you know,
so I
think
have a
about
ton of books.
The foot, for
yeah,
example.
I have a ton of books, and I also had like an old from my friend like a kind of a partial scan for the like there was this mail like super low res, but it's like medical, and you can really see how things like overlap
Yeah.
and stuff. So that was really really helpful. Now I think like you can buy a really nice like Ecorche models from like 3D scans, but like 3 years ago they didn't have that yet.
Sure.
I think so like this, but still like what's funny like so my dad he's a retired surgeon, but he also like did like X-ray and all that stuff. So when I showed him some of the Ghost in the Shell stuff, like super proud of it. And the first thing she said like, oh man, she has scoliosis. Like this is not good.
Yeah.
Like he just trashed my model. She's that's not good, man.
It's good though. It's good love though. He's making you
Yeah.
better, stronger.
I fixed it in the end, but still, yeah.
This flow is great, man.
So
It's really
like,
cool to
yeah, this
see the
kind of
sub D
workflow,
modeling. Is really interesting.
yeah, my favorite, dude.
Soft
So beautiful.
Moz it is no longer around, right? So we can't use it, or you can. Is there a way to
And
use it?
they discontinued it. I don't know if you can still buy a license. I bought it like a month or a few weeks before they announced that they're gonna discontinue. But if you have a license, you can still use it. But I think they don't have any support. I think so. If like you want to have any questions, I don't think there's any support there.
Yeah. Okay.
But I think you can still use it.
That's awesome. And your approach with sorry, I will just switch paces to this different things, but and we'll jump on to Maciej here in just a second. But this is really incredible, and seeing your process and your thought process about how you're making this stuff with the sub D modeling was really interesting. It's also interesting to know that you're doing this without Moy at this beginning stage and kind of doing a lot more sub D, which is really cool too. And your approach with making this hyper mesh is really interesting too. So, but what made you switch to using Moy and like, so let's say like the tank process? And
This
for
right
me
here,
personally,
yes.
my
Basically,
favorite versions of
yeah,
the tank from you, I love the original, like I remember seeing a lot of tanks because I would spy,
One of the first versions.
yeah, some of the first versions of your tanks, I was just like, dude,
I
because
really like the first because they were more simple.
yeah, exactly. Those are
They're
so
like
good.
super quick. Like so, this stuff right here.
Yeah, so good.
Yeah, so they're very, very simple, and I try to
So
really
good.
like push the scale when like all the details are really small.
Yeah.
And it looks like if you're gonna fall on this thing, you're gonna hurt yourself. Like it's really just this blunt, clunky
Yeah.
piece of metal. Uh, yeah, and towards the end, it got a little bit
That
more.
was one of my favorites, I think. I love the knee guard kind of like coverings that you have there. It's so
Yeah,
good.
it's inspired by the original. You remember like they had this like knee guard thing.
Yep, yeah.
All I did
Yeah.
is try to kind of reinforce it a bit and like put it on rail. So like if it's got like a reactive armor kind
So
of
good.
used to it.
This is Moy, right?
Moy.
This is when you get into
So
Moy.
this right here was entirely Moy except some of the like joint parts that are where I use my kit bash. So these were like original kind of first run of sketches, and I tried to really crank them out like as fast as possible. So for example, like some of the can you see my mouse like cursor?
Yep, can see it. Yeah.
So like this dark like joint area, this was some of like black thinning kit bash,
Yeah.
and I find it was like very interesting to use it because like you like when you look at the concept, you barely pay any attention to it and to these details, but without them, you really see like something's missing. So I tried to. So there you go, like 89 or like 80 or 90% of all the model is like unique parts. But then you have some fillers just so you don't have to spend time on that.
Yeah.
So that was really helpful.
That's awesome. The lighting too. I think one thing they really key on is like your lighting is really, it really helps sell your things because you could quickly just take a screen grab of your like Moy screenshot, But I think one thing that I think is really key in regards to this is when you're selling something to a director like Rupert, who's very visual. He's actually a really great director to work with because he can see a rough sketch and the potential of it, so it will save a lot of time. But that doesn't it didn't detract me from wanting to make a beautiful image at the end of the day, mostly because like I'm having to work with like Maciej and Vitaly, and I'm like, oh man, like these are some of the best at what they do. So that kind of pressure would make me kind of constantly want to do, make amazing things as much as I could. You doing something in Moy right now?
Oh yeah, like while talking, I just thought I'd show like some of the process of like how you can like do stuff.
Yeah, this is great.
Yeah, but you're right. Like that Rupert, like he's very visual, and he would like respond. If the idea is good, he'll respond good to it, regardless of how like refined or finished that is. So that's really really helpful. Like I think like that was very lucky that he was just so. He would give you all the time you need. Like if he likes where it's going, he's like, okay, finish that. So that was good.
Yeah, he was constantly like encouraging of like growth and stuff. Moe is only, I think, $300, so it's quite affordable, and I think they have a trial.
Yep.
So if you guys are watching this and you're interested in getting into what's this? It's CAD based modeling, but it starts with a P. What is it, Maciej?
Parametric or
Parametric, yeah, it's correct. Yeah,
yeah, parametric.
Yeah, so it's parametric modeling.
Solids,
Yeah,
whatever.
but we also like Maciej and I use a program called Fusion 360, which I
Yep.
believe has if you're a student, if you're a student of Learn Squared,
3 years free.
you get 3 years for free, which is amazing because it's an awesome
Oh,
software.
nice.
Yeah, so if like you guys are interested,
Yeah, I think
in doing
Fusion
this
is more advanced. Like you can do stuff for like fixtures for machining and stuff.
Yeah.
Like it's more advanced for sure.
Yeah, but I think the thing about Moe watching you work, because you showed me how this works, and it's very
Shortcuts, dude.
Shortcuts.
Shortcuts.
Come on, Curtis. You know we got to get these shortcuts. You know, Curtis is our friend from Fusion, and we're constantly razzing him about that. But yeah, I mean,
It's coming though.
yeah, I mean, the one thing is too is like watching Vitaly work is I don't even, like it's like a whole. It's like watching Maciej do what he does too. It's like okay. This is not normal speed. This is almost like sped up version, you know.
It's a
It's like time
Vitaly,
lapse speed
stop
up.
lying.
Yeah.
This is a time lapse.
Yeah.
What the fuck, man?
But no, it's really epic. It's awesome to see the way that you're using these tools too. And so if you guys are out there, you guys are interested in trying out the solids. Hard surface modeling, CAD-based modeling for concepting and stuff. I personally highly recommend. I think it's amazing. I use it in my daily workflow as much as possible. It totally beats doing hard surface and poly for me personally. Like hard surface and poly is quite difficult, but this like kind of removes a lot of that. And Moe is short for moments of inspiration. So it's made and it's designed in a form to like really allow people to just kind of make things and create things. And it's not just for hard surface. You can create really amazing like sweeping transitions and stuff too, which is really cool too. So
Yeah, you can make cars in it. Like it's just a slightly different process, but like it's still, you know,
make all kinds of stuff. Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, we have to move over to Maciej right now, but let's definitely like I mean, we could spend years just looking through just the work that you did in Ghost in a Shell. I mean, it's simply incredible.
Thanks so much, guys.
No,
Maybe round 2
like
next
stop
week.
it. Yeah. But it's incredible. But like, not only did you do an incredible amount of work, but like Maciej did an incredible amount of work. I mean, everybody involved did an amazing
You
amount
too,
of
dude. Well, stop being so modest, man. You did so much shit.
No, like Maciej, Maciej did like how many pieces do you have total? And Maciej, why don't you start sharing your screen and we'll go through some stuff that you want to talk about.
Yeah.
20.
You did 20. Shut up. You did so many. And I think personally from being your friend, knowing you and seeing your progression and work, I think that Ghost in a Shell as a project brought out a whole nother level of you. When I first met you, you were working at Naughty Dog and you're doing concept art for The Last of Us, which was incredible. It was really amazing. But this project, it really kind of just completely elevated and changed your game, you know, absolutely. So
when you first met me, I was just a little potato sprout. Now
You've grown so much, dude.
I'm a full-grown potato.
Yeah, dude. I mean, you like embraced the one thing I really love and appreciate about your approach to things is you just really openly embrace things, and you embrace the learning new things and trying new things. And it's something that I'm usually like, I don't want to try that, you know, and you're always like getting on me about that. But let's talk a little bit about your workflow and the process.
V-Ray, bro.
No V-Ray. Grant.
So what I'm showing right now is the suitcase gun, and I had a lot of questions actually. This is
Cool.
based on I think MP5 or Thompson. I can't remember exactly what the gun I used here. One of the things that I found, and you asked this question before, and it's sort of like we're looping back to that question again. It's like what have you learned the most out of working on this project? Is that when you push with new ideas and you try to push, you know, whether it's using software or new workflows, and you feel in your gut that it can work.
Yeah.
There might be something in it, and I started using Fusion 360 actually because of Vitaly. Actually, he ran away. What the fuck?
Make too much noise in the humidifier. Sorry.
No worries. We couldn't hear it. But I started looking into Fusion 360 and and CAD molding. Just yeah, because of Vitaly, dude. You've been so inspiring with making that,
Yeah.
Black Phoenix stuff. It was just insane to watch that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I was like, fuck, I gotta jump on that train. So I started learning Fusion 360. I think the first project that I worked on that I actually used Fusion 360 was um, Tron. So I
Oh,
worked
I
in
saw some of
Tron.
that stuff. That was incredible.
Um,
Yeah.
but that was like very simple set design stuff. And what I quickly found out was that a lot of the designs that I was making in Fusion, the set designers in the art department could just take IGS or step files and then build upon or use parts of it to actually make it proper for production ready. And that was like this moment where I realized, like, all right, so this software that is primarily used by engineers and built, like, people just use it for building cars and medical equipment, all that stuff. uh, Now it seems that I can actually use it in production for film, because if I'm working on like set and I'm building something for a set, they can just take my files and use it. And then I started thinking, like, what if I use it for weapons? What if I use it for props? Because some of the props can be printed, some of them going to be milled, and because I'm doing it in parametrics, they can, even if I'm not working in scale, or if I, screw up and not do the scale model, they'll be able to take it and rescale it to a proper dimensions. And because everything is parametric, if they send it to the machine, it'll work,
Yeah.
because it's
Yeah.
already built in
The
the
math is
software.
there. Yeah.
The math is there. The only thing that they have to do is, adjust the scale, just do a little cleanup here and there. And that's what happened. So for instance, I'm gonna go back
Do
to
you have the
that
picture
suitcase gun.
of Rupert holding the gun that you had made?
No, I lost it.
Let me tell that story really quickly because I think it's awesome. And that's a bummer you lost
Yeah,
that picture. I probably have it.
go for it.
So
Go for it.
yeah, and I'm living vicariously through Maciej. So every time Maciej get like a cool update, he's like, "Look at this!" I'm like, So he's showing me a gun.
3 a.m.
Yeah, of course. I mean, we were working a lot. We were jamming hard on this project. It was a rapid pace, but we really loved it. So Maciej is working on this gun. He's showing me the files, and this is all early. This is like when This is back when Learn Squared was first starting to begin. And he was jamming on these files, and he would send it over to me, and he's like, I was like, "Oh, it's cool!" Like sending over the screenshots of it. And that was another thing that was really fun, is like being able to work with these guys and share the files before anybody would see it. Well, besides like Rupert probably, but I would see the gun, and then the next week he sent me a picture of Rupert from an email. He's like holding the same gun, and I thought, man, that is the future. I thought to
It was
myself,
exactly 1-to-1.
Yeah.
I mean, they eventually modified it, I think,
Sure.
in the film. There's some modifications, but the most important part is that, when you work on the project like Ghost in the Shell, which, believe it or not, they try to make it as low budget as possible.
Of course.
Just because of what kind of IP it is. I mean, if it was up to Rupert, he would just blow up the budget, obviously. But studios are studios. They want to make money,
Sure.
not lose money.
Yeah, of course, naturally.
But all the time you have to think about what can we do and what kind of assets or existing stuff we can use in order to make it as easy and as cheap as possible. So, for instance, for this gun, the suitcase gun, I would use an existing weapon. I would send them exactly the weapon model and make.
Yeah.
They will be able to purchase it for $100 or
Boom.
$200 or whatever the price is, even if it's fake or like used from eBay, whatever that is.
New Zealand Craigslist.
They would just purchase it. Yeah, and then they would use their production team to build only the parts that are modified and just glue it.
Yeah.
And
when we were there on set too, you should talk about that, because when we were on set, we met with the weapons holder. I don't know what's the role of that guy, but he's the one that takes all the false weapons, and he's the one that has it all. Dude, how cool is that? You were holding all your guns like in New Zealand. That was that was like Maciej's.
Yeah.
It was like going through Maciej's brain. That whole trip it was so amazing.
It was very trippy. Yeah, for sure. And it was a mix. Like, I was surprised because like some of the stuff that they were doing, they would do it one way where they would print out parts from my files and then modify the weapon and do all the modifications that are required, or they would just straight up print from 3D files. And I was like, whoa,
Yeah.
that's kind
I
of
remember that because I remember seeing the
trippy.
file, so I was like, dude, this is like your gun. I was like, this is so crazy. I really wish we would have documented that better. It was so crazy being there, because like we met Scarlett, we were on set, we saw the stage. Rupert was so kind to us and so like involving and letting us hang out with him. And I was like, wow, you're shooting, like you normally be like, hey, get out of here, like screw it. He was so inviting and brought us along to the journey.
Yeah,
And
we're
it
just hanging out
was so
there,
cool.
just
And
being on
then
the set. It was
Jan,
so cool.
yeah, Jan showed us the stages that he was building and just showing us the massive production, and meeting Richard Taylor. How cool is that, man? That was epic.
Yeah, it was pretty. I mean, when you meet Richard and you know how much they do, and then when he talks and actually says what Weta does,
Yeah.
and you realize that on the surface it's only 10% of what they do.
It's crazy.
There's not
It's crazy.
90% of craziness that you don't even realize that they're
Oh my
working
god.
on.
Yeah.
It's like, what
That place
are you
puts in work.
saying,
That
man?
place puts in work. Remember what Scarlett said when we met her? Because when Rupert introduced us, that was pretty funny. His
Yeah,
introduction
it was
to
fun.
us was pretty funny. She was doing the tank punching scene, I think, and she came
Yeah.
down in between sets, in between, I don't know, they're doing different camera setups or something like that. And so we got to meet her, which was really nice of Rupert to introduce us. What did he say was so funny? Like the thing he said, and then she was like, oh yeah, like she was really nice. She was really kind, really cool person. So, dude, so much work. So much work.
Yeah, I was a little tongue in cheek that situation there too.
Yeah.
But it was fun. It was nice to meet her.
Yeah.
We had a chat with her briefly, and then we talked about some more, and then we just looked at the set. That was awesome because we were just hanging out in the director's tent, basically,
Yeah, yeah.
seeing all the behind the scenes. That was awesome. That was a great experience. But
What's
But yeah,
what's the
so-
most memorable experience to you? Sorry for jumping around because I know we don't have a ton of time
from
and there's
from
so
that
much to show.
from that trip,
Yeah, yeah.
your fucking hotel farts.
What? I don't know that.
Vitaly comes in towards the end.
How did I miss that?
I don't understand. Oh man, I don't know what I ate, but I had crazy farts and
It was insane, dude. I couldn't
I was,
fucking
I
stand
was
it.
farting like every minute, and so like after like being on set of a movie, it's very long days, so we were like active the whole day, and we would go back to our hotel. And that one night, Rupert wanted us to do some concepts for the movie poster, and so I was like, okay, I'll go meet you at your room, Maciej. And then I came over and we were like hanging out in bed together. Yeah. Drawing, making stuff at the
Still
laptop, and I just
sucks.
couldn't stop farting. I just completely obliterated in Maciej's hotel room, and he was getting so angry. It made me laugh. So I was like trying to fart more because
Because
the
it
more
was,
he
dude.
upset
It
he
was,
was getting.
so anyone who knows New Zealand or been to Wellington during winter time or during like fall, it's windy as fuck
Oh,
and it's
dude,
cold
crazy
during
windy.
night.
Yeah.
So it was so bad I had to open the window. It was getting cold,
It was like cold and stinky. So
cold and stinky.
Vitaly, you missed out.
all
You
at
missed out
once.
on the
Yeah, it's
farts.
big time. Damn.
Vitaly's-
Farting there.
Dude, Vitaly, we just wish you were there. We
Uh.
actually, when we saw the skeleton, you were showing how you built it, and Weta did amazing job.
Yeah, did an incredible
translating.
job. This guy. Yeah.
Holy hell!
Yeah, that was
It was.
insane.
It felt delicate, but it was pretty sturdy. But the amount of detail that they translated in print, they actually had to invent new way or like modified way of printing
Yeah,
in order to actually print out your files. It was insane.
it was epic,
those
man.
guys-
It was. I mean,
Yeah, it was epic.
It was insane.
Dude,
to
I
see in
love the
person.
truck, guys. I like this truck.
Yeah, damn you.
Yeah,
man.
Maciej,
that's
can you?
That's the APC truck. So for anyone who was wondering like how it was built, the way I was building weapons, the way I was building vehicles was very simple. I got a call from Jan and Richard. Richard Johnson was the supervising art director
Yeah,
on the
shout out to
show, and
Richard.
he would
What's
tell
up,
me.
Richard?
And he would tell me like, look, we're building this vehicle. Let's try some ideas. And I would try different ideas. And then, we would explore the looks and all that stuff. and then eventually, um, it would be okay. So we need to build it
What's the miles
upon.
per gallon on that beast?
Yeah, exactly. It's like it's -10. You have to fucking
-10.
y- it's you have to put all the gasoline that exists in the world in order to run it. Um, but
-10.
so the way we would design the vehicles, I would try to first come up with shapes. I'm actually gonna open up some of the vehicle stuff here.
Yeah, so much. I think
It's much
overall,
work.
dude, there's it's crazy amount of
Damn.
work. And I was seeing him just, he was like, oh, I'm gonna do this today. He would be pumping out like 3 images a day, car concepts. Like, look at these car concepts. Like, that's
Jesus,
something
dude.
that Sid
Slow
Mead would
down.
be
I wanna
like,
see the whole-
I'm gonna show this in a second. I just want to
that one's the
scroll
best
down.
one right there.
Scroll
Go
up.
back to that green one. That one's the best.
I want to find the sketches or
Dude,
the
I haven't
concepts.
seen like half of this.
Dude,
This is
Maciej
amazing. What the
has
hell?
so much work on this
I haven't
film.
shared half of the work I did for the
Yeah,
show.
dude, and you lost most of it because your hard drive crashed.
My hard drive failed. I lost some of the files. I didn't, or some of the
Good thing Fusion saves to the cloud for you. Then there you go. So
yeah. Anyway, so when I was designing the vehicles, for instance, this one, this is a render in Octane. It's basically
that's right. You're using Octane. Yeah.
yeah, I was using Octane over there. Basically, what I would do is build it in Fusion, export it to 3ds Max, and render it. That's it. So that was pretty simple workflow, and I would just like riff different designs and come up with different ideas. Obviously, there are some kid bashed parts that I would find. Like I would actually find parametrically built vehicles like trucks and stuff like that people share in community and just
Yeah.
rip some small parts.
GrabCAD, right?
Like those.
That's your resource.
Yeah, I think GrabCAD is a great resource.
You mentioned that in your class that you teach, the futuristic character design class. Which
Yeah.
I'm going to get into that in a minute too. But continue.
Sure. And basically, what I would do is just like, try different shapes, combine different vehicles and see what sticks. And what I try to
so
do
good.
is what I would try to do is also look at the source material. So one of the things that I think the best part of working on that show was how much I could take from the source and how much I was actually allowed to take from the source when I was working with Rupert, because he was very attached to the idea of trying to do as much, tip of a hat to what was already designed.
Yeah.
But also, it's Rupert's film, so he obviously want to have his own his own take on how the world looks like. But when we were designing it, I just had a lot of freedom to basically look at the shapes and look at the forms and see what is in the what I consider most epic source material in
It's the
existence.
best. Yeah, it's the best
best.
source material. Like you have Ghost in the Shell and Akira, and then like, yeah, that's pretty much like it doesn't get better than those. Yeah.
So in a way, it's everything was already designed.
Yeah,
In a
it's
way, so
no
so
guesswork.
what I would do is I wouldn't have to think so hard and to come up with something that looks great, because I would just basically look at the source and try to translate that to what would feel right and work in the actual movie. Because one thing you have to also realize is like something that works in anime might not necessarily look that great in a movie. And we tried
Yeah.
some of the things. I tried to translate some of the ideas
Kind of
from
like what Vitaly had to do,
concept.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, and it just like it looked great when you started, but the more you looked at it, the more you realized like it's just gonna feel really weird,
Sure.
really clunky, and it's very subjective. But I would say I realized that you have to do some changes, and then there is also a production reality where that there's certain things that you just have to compromise upon. Like for instance, building the APC, we had to use an existing vehicle,
Yeah.
and that would be just they would just draw. We just bought this truck, modify it.
Yeah,
Now,
can you show some of that transitions between like a picture or something that they would show you? Because this is something that would give you guys a realistic look at like, okay, they say,
I can't remember what the
it
truck
was like
is.
the Jitney, right? It was like the Jitney truck, like van or something like that.
Jipney was a different vehicle.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just saying.
we would use a Jipney truck. Actually, let me show you this. Let's close this one.
There's so much stuff, guys. And one thing I want you guys all to know is like we do streams 2 times a week. I do Wednesdays, Maciej does Thursdays. We're gonna start doing more streams. If you like these kind of streams, let us know. Subscribe, be a part of the community. Throughout the next couple of months, Maciej and I are going to start doing some focused streams on just these things. So like right now is just like there's just too much content to cover. Like there's no way. Literally like between Vitaly and Maciej, they have like 3 years worth of work here for us to cover, and it's
Yeah,
just it's
there's
ridiculous amount of work. It's
a lot of
it's
work.
stupid amounts of work, and if you guys think about like, think about Maciej, like when you first started doing concept art, to think about how far you've gone into this realm, and like thinking about like how crazy it is, like how advanced it's become for you in particular, like how much work you're having to produce, and like how like
Yeah,
rapid it is now, and how everything is
been
shifting
a
to
lot.
3D. So I just want everybody to be aware that if you want to see more of these things, you got to subscribe, be a part of this community. That really helps, because then you guys will be able to see what we're doing, and
Yeah.
because we're going to do more of these. So if I'm just giving it while you're transitioning. So why don't you talk about this street sweeper? Because this is another great detail. Because like, just like I
Yeah,
remember
so
watching Blade Runner back behind the scenes with Sid Mead talking about making the like the light posts and stuff, and his whole thought about it. And I was like, that's so great. I love the way that works. And you're doing the same kind of thing here. So yeah, go for
yeah,
it.
the reality is we can design things to look beautiful, but they have to work. You have to be able to build it. And there's two options. You can buy a used vehicle that doesn't necessarily have to run, because in majority of cases, and especially in sci-fi films, I don't know how it is in Fast and Furious, but in most cases they remove engines from the vehicles
Yeah,
for safety reasons,
yeah,
and they're just basically on tracks or
yeah,
on green screen. So they would just buy a beater basically, and which would cost pennies, and then they would just renovate and add details in order to make it work. So, for instance, this is a sweeper that they purchased, and the production was done in New Zealand. So the reality is you have to look at what can be purchased around the area, and you just cannot, afford to, ship a vehicle from United States overseas because
there's a lot
because
of
it's just
limitations, budgetary
yeah
limitations.
because it looks nice.
Yeah,
So you have to work with what's there. So I would get like a photo like this, and I would get the make of this vehicle, like all the data that I need to find. And I believe I found
that model looks pretty good.
I
Did you get
think
that
I
off
built.
TurboSquid or something, or what?
I can't remember exactly. There's some parts that I've built, and I think I actually found a model that was pretty much it. Or maybe it was an asset that I got from production as well. I can't exactly remember,
Hmm.
but the yellow stuff is basically the base model, so it's very similar, if not the same, as the photo, right? I think
Yeah,
it's the same.
yeah, the geometry's the same.
I might have actually found the model for it, like on the Turbo Square or something. So I would
Wow,
purchase that.
that's really. Imagine the
Um,
person's like, someday somebody's gonna use this. This street sweeper is gonna freaking make it in the movies. That's crazy.
and then my job there would be like, how do I design it? So one way of doing it is like the old school way, where you just do overpaint,
Yeah,
which is fine. But since I was already, balls deep into CAD, and they've been getting a lot of those assets from me already, it was just like, I just gonna work it that way, because they're gonna already have an asset for me to work with if I just send them render just to get approval, but also the asset itself that they can just build from.
yeah.
So that's what I would do. I would just actually build, the front, rebuild the front, rebuild some of the rebars, add a little, more of a Ghost in the Shell-ish detail,
Mache
and
lines.
then Mache lines.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
We had a lot of little words and stuff that
that's
Rupert would say, and like, oh, it needs to have more Mache lines. Put Mache lines on there. So yeah.
yeah. So you can see it's the same sweeper,
Hmm.
but I just changed, like, added details on the wheels, painted some details here so they can modify, but also built this whole front for them that I could just basically use. They would get the render. All right, this is how it looks, and they would also get the file so they can build from it.
That's a
So
render.
that was
That's pieces of render there.
this stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to use that thing to brush my teeth.
Nice.
And
Vitaly's like,
yeah,
nice.
so
He's all
there's been a
quiet.
lot of
There's
there's
so
been a
much.
lot of that stuff
There's just
that I haven't shown yet, but yeah, there's like a lot of medical Hanka stuff
yeah. This
that
is
I've
kind of
built.
like,
Uh,
oh man.
Yeah, some of the all of it is Fusion and Octane. Actually, the line art is V-Ray render,
So
but
awesome. So
this
much
is
stuff.
this is more of a Octane renders. Yeah, it was a lot of fun because this was probably the most fun because it was most challenging and also way different than I'm used to. You know, like like you said, you met me when I was working
Doing
on
Photoshop.
yeah, in Photoshop when I was working over at Naughty Dog for The Last of Us.
Yeah.
And I would just do Photoshop. I would just do photo bashing like all day long, and that's majority of the projects that I would work on would be done that way. And then this was an opportunity for me to try something new and fresh, and people would be just like, hell yeah, you
Yeah.
know, that like the production team would be happy. This actual piece is a combination of a file from Vitaly. So the base here, Vitaly, you could probably see it, is yours. I just
Huh.
modified it a little bit. Did some
What?
modifications, and then I
Oh
added
man,
the
I'm joking.
arm.
Yeah, nice. I don't even remember from where it is. Oh, it's from the surgical that the equipment did for medical stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the
Ah,
handgun
cool,
stuff.
cool.
And
Ah,
I think
nice.
you already built some of the assets,
Mm-hmm.
and I I can't remember exactly, but I believe they wanted to keep some of that stuff and build upon some extras. So basically, I would just take your base and do some modifications to it, like add little details, bulging stuff, and whatever, and then just add those the
The,
arm
the long
details.
skinny arm looks awesome, dude. Love it.
Yeah, and that's your ring as well. And then
Yeah.
so they would send me the ring and say like, "Hey, Vitaly, built this. Can you add the arm to it?" So I would just build
It's
the
cool. You
arm.
guys made a seamless transition between both your styles though, which is really great too. So
Yeah, I mean the language was already there. Vitaly created it, so
yeah, but Vitaly created it off the concepts that existed from the amazing people that created the original concept
yeah,
art,
there you go.
which we have. Like I have all the books here. I'm sure Vitaly you have them too, and same with you, Maciej. Like when we jumped on this project, I grabbed all the source material because like constantly folding through it and having it right next to me at all times to make sure that I was working in that space. I think is really important. Yeah,
Yeah,
this is incredible. I mean, there's so much stuff here, guys. Like, so literally, like, be a part of this. Don't miss these streams because we're gonna start going into more of this stuff. And I think the key thing here is like to see like the future of concept art, the future of what this is gonna become. And I think it's really important if you're really interested in getting into this stuff seriously. I think it's really key to like pay attention to like what these guys are doing because I think this is really, from my perspective, this is where the future of it's going. It's
yeah.
rapid prototyping. It's being able to take
That's your
things.
arm here, by the way,
Oh,
Vitaly.
Yeah,
See it.
never ending.
So again, like this is something that is done very often in production where we just share assets and
yeah.
build stuff together. There's a couple of shows that I like. There's a show I'm working on right now where I'm literally taking concepts from other designers and designing on top of them because they want to see other changes or my take or like how I would change the existing design to something else. And this is very common in film production. Again, the way you're supposed to approach the work when you work in the production is that you are supposed to help director, production designer, and everyone who's on the team to make this as cheap and as best looking as possible.
Yeah,
Yep.
And
yeah,
that should be the only approach. Now, if you want to make amazing images, you can always
that's great, and you
touch
should.
it up.
Yeah,
You should,
yeah. I
but
think
if
you
you
should
if you
always
don't
push
have
the bar,
time,
right? I remember always from that
right?
conversation we had on the podcast together, where you're like, the creative director of Naughty Dog was like, "I hate you because we'll never make the grass look that good," or something like that on The Last of Us, because you like went beyond what the game engine could do, even though the game engine's quite amazing, which I thought was kind of funny. So
Yeah,
yeah,
we had with Bruce Straley, we had a lot of those conversations where I would just paint something and we would try to see how much of it can be actually built, and we would push the team to make it as much as possible, But
yeah,
there's always a reality of there's only as much as you can do, and
yes,
I was amazed how much of those details were actually really well translated in the film. Like this whole top here, it's the one-to-one in the film. It's pretty
They built
cool.
it. They built it,
Yeah,
right?
they built the whole table too. Some details probably changed because they couldn't, maybe it was cheaper to remove some of the details, but the main details, including the arm itself, the look of the arm that you've designed, Vitaly, was there. So that was awesome.
Awesome.
yeah. Okay, I'm gonna jump on here and share some stuff in a minute. The last thing I would love for you to focus on, if you can quickly, because there's so much
Sure.
stuff, is the geishas, which is my
Too much.
favorite. Yeah, it's too much. I think one of the most amazing things that I saw out of all this stuff that you had made, which was just incredibly, it was just amazing to watch it all unfold. Honestly, like,
Believe I have
but
the
is the geisha stuff, and kind of like, can you walk through that, and then I'll show
yeah,
you
I
guys
don't
some
have all
stuff
the
too.
files,
So
but I'll show you guys again. Like I had I had an accident where basically my all my hard drives fucking failed all at once. I was using the RAID 5 or RAID 10, like one of the safest possible RAID systems, and the only way something can go wrong if like three disks fail all at once, and they did.
Wow.
Like what are the odds? Like and recovery is like what, $10,000? Fuck that. I'm not gonna pay for
yeah,
recovering
you
$10,000 for a
can.
couple of files.
While
I
that's loading, why
managed
don't you
to
show the
salvage.
images maybe? So because you have
Yeah, yeah,
some of
yeah.
the images, don't you? And
I
then
do. I have all of the images. So
Nice.
one of the things that I always do is when I work with production, I always send them as much as I can. I don't mind sending. Oh, there we go. It loaded.
yeah,
Oh,
that was
nice.
crazy.
So it's not the
We'll go into
finished
these
level.
process too of bringing in poly based stuff, OBJs and all that stuff. We'll go through that
Yeah,
in the streams too. We'll go into more in depth stuff too. So again, like I'm saying, like literally, if this is something of
just
interest to
running out of
you,
time.
yeah, we're running out of time, literally. Like, and we only have so much time, and Vitaly's very busy, and so are the rest of us.
Yeah.
But there's, yeah, these were. I remember seeing these images, for example, and I was like, dude, what the hell are you doing, man? Like, I was like, can you stop
Yeah, that
it,
was
please?
fun.
Like, stop
That was fun.
getting crazy. You were getting super crazy with, but these ones, when you open up the face and everything too, it's like, and then
Yeah.
it was. I mean, obviously,
This,
it was.
this is amazing, dude.
Dude,
That's awesome.
it's amazing. Yeah,
That's
the thing I love is like it's a perfect blend between the renders, and then you know exactly where to put the photoshopping and to like accentuate the things properly. Like
Yeah,
there's
some
car
of the
parts
like
and wires and
cable
stuff.
details.
Yeah,
Yeah, some of the cable details were added. Some of the stuff I added in 3D. I don't have the 3ds Max file. Like most of it is built in Fusion, obviously.
yeah,
But yeah, I
epic.
would basically build this. I think it took me about a day to get those two renders.
Yeah,
And I remember Rupert first email he sent me was keep going. I was all right. He sent me an email, talk to costume designers, and let's try to design the costume designs as well. So I would talk with Kurt and Bart, who were amazing costume designers. I think they did a wonderful job in terms of like, especially with the geishas. The geishas
yeah.
look amazing in the film,
It's really hard
and
to
they had
translate this stuff to real world stuff. It's a whole different task.
if you would see the fabric and how they built it and how they cut the pieces and all of that stuff was just it's very inspiring to actually see it in person
Yeah,
and see how much effort was done to create the costumes. It sometimes doesn't translate well, or there's not enough time to see all the artistry behind it. I almost hope that there's going to be a feature about how they done that. But yeah, I would have a phone conversation with Kurt and Bart, and then we would start designing the
marvelous
preliminary
designer and all
look.
that stuff too. And
Yeah,
this
Marvel's designer,
also,
Octane, and
this is stuff that, like, if you're interested in learning this stuff too, Maciej has a course on Learn Square, futuristic. I always
character
forget the name.
design.
Character design, exactly.
Yeah.
And he teaches this whole process because the school started from me asking Maciej to teach me how he's doing the Ghost in the Shell stuff. That's pretty much it. And he wanted to know how I was doing what I was doing, but it's more or less I was really interested in knowing how he was doing what he was doing. So he basically showed, like, in that class, if you take that class, it's basically showing you the whole process in which he creates his stuff using Fusion for weapons, GrabCAD stuff, all that stuff, kit bashing to rendering to lighting to, I mean, it's literally the class. If you want to know how to do this stuff from the person that did this stuff, that's the class to take, because it's like so many people come up to me that I met when I was like at different talks, and they're like, oh, I want to do concept art. I'm like, just take Maciej's class, and that's the end of the day. That's the end of the story for you, because it has all the stuff if you're really interested in doing these kind of things. So that course is, I just want to make sure that people are aware, because this one, that's what this course it came from. It came from me
Yeah,
asking him
yeah.
all these questions.
And then you fucking calling and cursing you,
Oh,
mother.
it's so hard. It's
So hard.
it's how are you
Yeah,
doing
bear in
this?
mind it's a demanding one.
Yes,
It will
yeah.
take a lot of
A lot
energy
of hours.
out of you.
Yeah, but it's I mean,
Um,
but the results will show once you're done with it.
yeah,
So
if you're curious how I made those images, everything that you need to know is in that course. And
Yeah.
obviously, the design sensitivities and some of the design approaches, that takes time, and that's a subject of its own.
Yeah.
But in order, everything that I've made for the film for Ghost in the Shell, it's almost like most of it is in that course, and the other one, which is the Intro to Environment Painting. Some of the environment stuff that I've built for the show, that I've been sharing for the last 2 weeks now,
Yeah.
was you can learn how to do that in that course as well. So
There you go.
um,
Not even a shameless plug. It's like a legitimate plug. I'm like, I have no
yeah,
shame in
it's
plugging
legitimately
that. It's
it's
legitimately.
legitimately my knowledge,
Yeah.
everything that I've learned up until now,
Yeah.
and I wanted to share with you guys, and this is the testament. This is finally where I can show
Show it.
you.
Yeah.
This is why.
Yeah.
This is why it's worth it, because I made this in a film.
Yeah.
Not to humble brag, but one of the reasons why you have
Last
Macei's
thing, and then I have to
Hotel.
jump. I have to jump. Go for
Yeah,
it. Last thing.
I know it's your turn.
Yeah.
But the Maciej Hotel, I get that question very often. It was
Do you
supposed
know
to
about
be a
this
different.
Vitaly? That he had a
What's
hotel
that?
named about him in the movie Maciej Hotel. You know about that?
Oh yeah, I saw that. Yeah, it's fucking awesome. Well done.
So the story is pretty simple. And I have to thank the production team, because they convinced Rupert, and Rupert wasn't even convincing. Rupert was like, "Yes, let's do it." But they came up with the idea. I can't remember exactly who that was. It
It's
was
the
one of
hotel that
the.
she's jumping off of too.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
place
yeah.
that
But
she's
there
jumping
was
off.
one of the production ladies, one of the production girls there. We met her when we went to New Zealand. Fuck, I can't remember her name. Um, but yeah, so she came up with this idea, and because they were struggling to create a name for the hotel, I don't. There's like, they were coming up with ideas for what the name of the hotel is, Chinese names and Japanese names of the hotel, but there's also like a there's a layer of like, all right, if we use that name, we have to have a clearance from the company that's already using that name, blah blah blah. So
Yeah, it's really
it was like,
complicated. But nobody
why not
knows that
Maciej?
name.
Let's
So yeah.
yeah, there you go.
The
And
shader
it
on this
kind of
is
sounds
insane.
Chinese.
Yeah, this is a V-Ray render using like the tips and knowledge you've learned from our friend Grant Warwick at Mastering CGI. A little shout
Yeah,
out to him
yeah,
because he's awesome, and it's just a
that was for the cover.
stunning
That was
render.
the render for
Yeah,
the
so
cover.
here it is, guys.
So good, man.
Yeah. How sick is that freaking shader, man? That shader is
Yeah.
nasty. It looks totally photoreal at this point too. The HDRI like really exemplifies all the lights and the looks and stuff.
Everything I know about V-Ray, I know from Grant.
Yeah.
Just so you know.
Yeah, if you join the
But
streams
yeah,
too,
the
Grant
model is
comes
from
on there
Weta.
too, and we break down all kinds of stuff like this as well. So that will
Yeah.
kind of help you guys. So
The model for this is from Weta. But anyways, yeah, they named the hotel Maciej, and when we went to New Zealand, it was kind of crazy, because just like, oh yeah, we
you
named
found out
hotel.
that, yeah, you found that out on the set.
And it was like, holy shit, that's awesome. And I thought they're gonna just like put like two Chinese letters that
Yeah.
sound like Maciej.
Yeah.
But then I'm watching the trailer, it's like fucking big ass writing. They're running in like, what the fuck?
His ego grew tenfold. Awesome,
So
man. So
I
much
couldn't
work.
be more thankful.
Yeah.
But it's basically, from what I understand, it was like a thank you from production team for the amount of work they did, and that's pretty much it.
That's epic. Vitaly, do you have to go? I know you're busy.
No, actually fine. Yeah,
Okay.
like it's perfect.
Okay.
Yeah,
I want to wrap
For
this
you.
up.
Much your stuff, man.
Okay, I would like to wrap this in 15 minutes if possible. Is that okay with you guys?
Yeah.
Sure.
I mean, we can go on forever, and I'll try to be brief with what I'm going to show. Just some of the stuff that I just want to talk about, a couple of key moments for me personally, and kind of get into.
Yeah,
that
we
a
wanna
little bit.
we wanna see your goodies.
So I think the interesting thing, and you'll read in the book too, the art of book, is that there's many different processes and different things that were happening in the like how Rupert would kind of move us around as different chess pieces to get the production done. And so Vitaly was obviously like just the freaking hyper blaster, and same with Maciej, and he would kind of like Maciej, he would be like, can you paint the scene, and Maciej would go and make this amazing photorealistic, realistic design, kind of something really amazing. So for me, I was like, how do I fit in here? And so I kept kind of trying to figure out like, how can I be a part of this? And I didn't want, for my whole career, it's like UI designer, and I don't like, I get tired of doing UI all the time. So I was like, let's paint the city and let's make the city something interesting. And Rupert, this whole time in the beginning, he had this whole concept of having these solograms and these kind of like this feel of the city that was, it was AR and VR and everything was blended between. So this is like a very, probably one of the, I think, a second or third piece that I made for the film. And here's my really extremely messy Photoshop file. So you guys can see all of my horrible
Ash,
layers.
I don't see your screen. Are you sharing the screen?
Yeah, sorry. I'm sharing it on the OBS and not on my screen here. So I'll share it here so you guys can see it on the Skype window separately. So it's real time for you guys. Can you see now, Vitaly?
Should I go to GoToMeeting or
No,
Skype?
it's in Skype.
No, it's Skype.
Yeah, it'll probably be by my webcam picture. If not, then Maciej, can you send Vitaly a link to the Learn Squared?
Yeah,
Live?
if you go twitch.tv.
Just send him a link. Yeah.
It's Twitch. Okay, I'll just go to Twitch. Yeah, I have the link. Yeah.
It's delayed, so you'll see. You just have to mute it. It'll be delayed, but that way you kind of can see. If not, I'm sharing the screen. I think Maciej can see it. But yeah. So that was kind of like, it was a really interesting process for this, and it was cool. It was really cool taking this kind of approach. And I mean, I grew up on Ghost in the Shell. I think everybody knows that I love Ghost in the Shell based on like Project 2501. A big question that a lot of people come to me and ask me like, hey, did doing Project 2501 help you get this position working on this job with Rupert? Sure. Well, I'd never asked him that directly, but I imagine so. I think that it helps him knowing that I love the franchise so much. So I think the one thing that I would recommend for anybody that is curious about that is you need to just do the passion projects for the reasons that you love things. And I didn't do it with any kind of intention of working on this film. It just so happened that they were going to go and make this film. And I was thankful enough that Rupert chose me to be a part of the team. And so it was just a really great experience for me personally. And so this is like one of the first pieces in painting the city and basically kind of creating this like landscape of madness, basically. Another like really fun thing, and I don't have the actual file of this one, but I do have like a photo bash thing that this is right when Learn Squared first started, basically, is like, this is how it kind of started, this piece actually, because I love cars and I love motorcycles and I love mechanical things, just like the rest of us on the stream here. And so when I was asking Rupert, like, can I do some bikes or cars? I really love bikes and cars, you know? And he was so cool. Like, I was like, Rupert, can you just let me play for a little bit? Can you give me a little bit of time? I like, what can I do Bato's car or something? And he was like, yeah, go for it. And cause I sent him like some concepts I had done. And so, and then he was like, and I asked him, can I work on it with Maciej? And he was like, yeah, go for it. And so Maciej and I were like, I think we had like maybe 4 or 5 days together on this, and we made a ton of stuff.
Yeah.
But this was one of the bikes, and it was a lot of fun to make this because we were just passing things back and forth, and I was learning so much from Maciej about photo bashing and just like painting things together and putting together a cohesive design. And so this was, for me, it was like a very memorable moment in my career, and this image itself as a creation and also helping create like the school. And then obviously went off and Vitaly made like some iterations in 3D, and then okay, all right, Vitaly's thanks a lot, Vitaly. Yeah, so there
Thanks, Vitaly.
yeah, there's more, and I'll get into this more in another stream probably too, and maybe Maciej and I will do another custom stream where we kind of break this down. But for me, I'm like really proud of this because like I love motorcycles, I love design, and I love the look of this, and I think it's a really weird, but it also matches the style of the film in its own way, but it's completely different. So I felt like we were paying nod to the original source material with the shape languages and stuff. And there's a lot of things that get inspired and inferred as you go through this. So I just want to share this one with you guys. The other thing is, and maybe I'll just show like a couple other things really quickly, but branding the film was a lot of fun. So Rupert let me basically brand Ghost in the Shell, and I was like, this is great because I've always wanted to do that. So I made the logo for the whole franchise, and I think I made it very quickly. It was like probably like in a day or something, because I think when it comes to speed and design, I'm probably on the par with Vitaly in 3D. I could design stuff really quite
Oh
quickly
yeah.
because I know all of the tricks and things, you know. But this was a lot of fun, and picking the typeface and laying it all out and getting everything set up and sketching out ideas and sharing them with Rupert and stuff. And it was just so much fun from going from concepting a motorcycle to branding an entire franchise and being out, and like we were in Paris. I took my wife to Paris for the speaking event. And we'd see the Ghost in the Shell everywhere and just seeing it. It was so interesting. As a kid, I grew up doing like graffiti and stuff, and like one of the big things you would do as an ego move is like you'd want to have your piece everywhere. And so this is like, as an adult, I never thought as a kid that I would have like this piece literally covering the world. But it's more of like an ego thing, but it's kind of funny. So, but yeah, here's a couple iterations. I did a bunch of different passes, and here's like my file, and I break down these kind of. This approach is the same approach that I teach in my main title design class about like typography and stuff, but like how to pick typography and like setting things up and like the different typefaces that I use: regular, replica, foundry, blender, linotype Dito, like Austin. Like these are all like the different setups, and then the different setups at kerning and stuff, and then weights and stuff, and then I'd go through here and start iterating and going through this. And this is like a realm that I'm quite comfortable with. And I also, not only was it the branding the film, but it was also branding the Rupert wanted to have a logo for the on-set stuff, so like the back of the director's chair or whatever. So like he had me come up with that, and so I think this was the winner for that piece. But I did a bunch of different iterations for that too.
These are awesome, dude.
Thank you so much. Thank you. This is for me is just a lot of fun. You know, like I wanted to. I was thinking about maybe paying homage to the original and doing something quite simple, and instead of having a triangle, having 3 dots, and using kind of like a serifed kind of face that had some interesting just shapes and stuff, and also using like an old classic Dito kind of like typeface as well to kind of clash against like the beautiful imagery that Maciej and Vitaly were making. So it was just a lot of fun, and for me it was just like what an exploration and what a really fun
One day of
journey,
work.
you know? Yeah, one day of work. Yeah, it was one day or something like that. It was some kind of, yeah, I remember just blasting. You know, you get in your modes, you know, you guys, you know how it is. Like you just get in your go seat and you just go, and that's it. And there's no,
You slay at it, man. It's like I get those messages from you like 2 a.m., 3 a.m. I've been blasting this shit all like this whole day, and there's like fucking 50 pages of design. Like, what the fuck am I even looking at?
yeah, definitely. And I think that's what I would like to say too, is like Rupert was really, I think, quite smart at strategically placing us in the right spots with where it was going, you know. So, but yeah, so that's kind of a basic overview. There's some more stuff that when I brought my buddy Chris Beyer on, and him and I did a lot of post-production stuff. So it's past the pre-production, which is like what Maciej, Vitaly, and I were doing in the beginning. There's 2 different phases for films that I've experienced. There's the post-production where you work with the director directly, or the crew of art directors and stuff, and you build what the sets need to be. And then the post-production is the side where you're doing all the vis effects and putting everything together. This is a lot of just like explorations. Chris and I built a lot of these things together. This was when I started really getting into Octane. I love just like creating weird shaders, and I wasn't UVing yet, so they have seams and stuff, but but it was a lot of fun, and it was for me, it was like this project really pushed me to learn and grow. And I like, even in the middle of this, I was building a PC from Maciej. I was like, I have to be at this level. I have to play with you guys. I can't keep using Photoshop anymore and expecting to get these results. I just can't. So, but it was a lot of fun, and creating these and having a lot of a blast with this stuff, and kind of just putting everything together, and just, yeah, I don't even know where to start with this stuff because it gets really crazy. And we'll also talk about posters sometime too, because we made a bunch of posters as well. But that's pretty much the gist of it for me. It was like an endless slew of creative art flowing, and for me, I'm just yeah, I know this was not supposed to be a circle jerk episode, but I can't help it because I'm with my bros.
Yes,
I'm so proud of them, and
let's
it's
pat
awesome.
each other's back, dude.
Yeah, so
Let's do that.
So yeah, let's pat each other's back. And you know, like I also want to paint a realistic picture that it is complicated, it is tough, and it is challenging, and there are long nights, and there are moments where you're frustrated, and it's very confusing, or it can be very much a problem at times, but at the same time, it's like we're not saving lives, you know. We're having fun creating art, you know, like and sharing things and helping people make movies. So it was a lot of fun. Let's move over to the questions. Then we're gonna talk about the book raffle, and then we have a couple last minute things, and we're done. So this is a really long stream. I'm sorry it's taking so long. There's literally not enough time in the entire universe.
I'm pretty sure.
I'm pretty
sure our audience is so upset it's taking longer.
Yeah. Oh, more time with this, guys. Oh, I'm sorry. I mean, everybody that's subscribed, just so you guys know, subscribers can watch this at any time. So if you're subscribed and you're missing this because you're on the other side of the world and you're sleeping, we don't blame you. So get your sleep, but you can watch it anytime. Anybody that isn't subscribed, we're not going to punish you. This stuff does get pushed to YouTube. We push it to YouTube. I think Momo, was it like every 3 weeks or 2 weeks or something? We push the episode.
It's every 2 weeks.
Okay, there you go. So if you don't want to subscribe, don't want to be a part of it, that we're not going to blame you for that. You can watch it eventually. It's just like you're not going to get it immediately. What's the benefits of subscribing, Momo? You know all this stuff. What is it for subscribing?
I mean, you have access to an archive of, like, at this point, this is episode 96.
Yeah.
So you have access to like 96 episodes of some of the best artists in the entertainment industry, whether it's video game or film, or just technical masters like Grant Warwick, who just come on, share their knowledge, and just have a good time on the stream.
Yeah, it's really open flow and stuff. It's like a merger between the podcast and everything too.
And also, just about the subscription, if you guys have Amazon Prime, you have a free subscription every month that you can use towards the Learn Squared archive.
Yeah, so you can use Amazon Prime. Yeah,
exactly.
Amazon Prime is the shit too. Like if you don't have it, it's like it helps a lot with buying books and everything. Vitaly, you got Amazon Prime?
Yep, love it.
It's the
and another thing is, like, when you subscribe to the channel, you're basically helping to support the channel. That's as simple as that. You know, we try to invite as many cool people as we can and have really meaningful and awesome conversations and share anything we can share with you guys. And you know, there's some of you that will be part of the school and will buy the classes. There's some of you guys that maybe cannot afford, but you know, maybe you can afford to be on the channel and support the channel, and we want to share as much as we can. Yeah, don't feel obligated. It's always up to you. We don't want to obligate anyone to do anything. It's, you know, it's ultimately going to be your choice always, and we can only be thankful for the support that we have so far.
Yeah, just think about it this way: basically, the more resources we have, the better we can make all these things and just improve the entire platform to give you guys the best experience. That's pretty much how we do things. So
yep.
It's basically my beer habit you guys are feeding. I love beer. I'm just going to drink a lot of beer.
Maciej's Bugatti.
Yeah, it's my
Maciej's
Bugatti.
He needs to buy a wheel. Okay, questions. Let's move over to questions, Momo. Let's get through some questions. And then the book lottery.
There's a ton of questions.
We don't have time for a ton of questions.
I know.
Is there anyone that came through that were like just rapidly repeating? That would get through that.
Yeah, I mean.
And Vitaly, if you want to share your screen or something, like feel free to, because like I just have like this thing.
Why don't you play Vitaly's video?
Perfect. Okay, good. I'm gonna go to YouTube right now and play this incredible
and by the way,
destroying video from Vitaly.
Momo, you can save some of the most interesting questions that you feel like are good. Just save them for future streams.
This is what we're going to do pretty much after. Like, one thing we were talking about the Twitch streams is obviously to bring like the best artists that we can find, and also to see what you guys are interested in. So every now and then in the chat I ask for names and we try to get them on the stream. The other thing is basically we are going to have more of Ash and Maciej doing technical stuff. It won't, like, for instance, as a continuation of this Ghost in the Shell theme, Ash might do something on solograms, or Maciej will show some of the process, the workflow he had on set, and just show you guys how the sauce is made, so that you guys can go and, I don't know, experience with them and share them on social media and things like that.
Cool.
Yeah, we'll have more of the Ghost in the Shell stuff coming up soon.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome.
Yeah.
So just
And
basically pay attention.
Vitaly, anytime you're free, I know you're super busy, but
Yeah, man.
I saw so many
we'll
people
do
ask for a
anything to
Vitaly
get you
class. My
back.
God. My God. I saw
Yeah,
like,
Oh
there's
yeah,
Vitaly, make a class, please. Make a class, please. Vitaly, make a class. Yeah.
Eventually, yeah,
Dude.
it's gonna happen.
you're by far the most requested teacher.
Yeah. Eventually. I know you're very busy, so we won't pressure you on the live stream. So
No
let's move into
pressure, no
questions. Let's
pressure.
move into questions.
Only 1,000 people watching, probably a couple of
So
thousand later. No pressure.
so
Thanks, guys.
the first question is, are you guys going to have another Ghost in the Shell stream? Answer is probably not. Um,
Unless Vitaly wants to, but Maciej and I will do another one for sure. Vitaly's very busy
Yeah.
though, so yeah.
yeah. So
Well,
like I
let's talk
said.
about like if we can.
Oh.
All right.
Yeah. Let me know.
Okay. All right. Well, there you go.
Oh,
There you go. The demand, the people are winning. So yeah, we might have another Ghost in the Shell stream. And there's too many questions, so we'll probably do try to cover them during your solo streams, Ash and Maciej.
Cool.
Because there's way too many to go through. What I'll ask though is, you guys have worked together for a little while working on Ghost in the Shell. What do you think? You know, Maciej looking at Ash, Ash looking at Vitaly, and vice versa. What do you think your peers could improve on? Like Ash, what do you think Maciej could improve on? What would improve his game? And what you've seen like working with him, and vice versa.
Oh, that's tough. I think that he does an amazing job. I think if anything, I don't really think of anything. I honestly, I think he home run this shot. I'm not trying to just be that guy, but maybe design. But like,
No,
even with design, it's already
not
good,
even. I'm not saying like the negative stuff, but just whatever comes to mind. Like,
I would love to see you guys do motion stuff. I'd love to see this stuff move. That would make me freaking flip out. Cause like
there you go.
round tables or like like Vitaly, you guys have your joints and shit, and like you guys have animations of that stuff. That to me would be the next level. If you guys could not only show what it looks like, but at the same time how it moves and interacts. I mean, Maciej, you did the doors and the truck thing you did, so that was cool. You did that like brief thing. And Vitaly, I know you do turntables and stuff, but like when I see Vitaly, when I see all this work here, I'm like, dude, like it's so impressive. Like I would go in there with a camera and just move around it and make sequences, and I would make the most internet destroying thing and obliterate everybody with it. That'd be me, because you have so much material, and all it would take was just to take a camera around and move sequences. So if you need help with that, let me know. I'm your man to help you with like setting you up to get those cameras in there to get this, because it's incredible. You can move lights around these objects and stuff. Yeah, man. Like, I feel like I had such a small fraction of the work, but in the final presentation, I tried. I mean, Chris Bayer and I, for the post-production, we did create a ton of stuff. But for the beginning stage, it's like, yeah, you guys created so much stuff, and I would personally, that would be my biggest tip and advice from my perspective, is like to see this stuff moving, have the lights moving. Even now you have the turntable, but like having the lights moving around the object or cascading and stuff, and just making it just freaking epic, like turning it up another notch. Please don't turn it up too much though, guys. We have to keep up with you guys. So yeah. So that's for me. I don't know about you guys. So yeah.
Thanks, man. Thanks. It's a good idea for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
I don't know what you have
you
here.
too, I don't know what to say. Like you're on the like one of the top of you guys, and it's just like, what else can you do? I don't know. It's awesome.
I know what he can do. Use V-Ray.
There you go.
Yeah, I will. I'll use V-Ray. Right now, I'm learning CAD-based software really heavily, and I'm learning poly modeling right now. So I'm getting really quite intense in it. You both know what the next project that I'm working on is, so I'm doing my best, and this will be something that'll be pretty special. And for me and everybody listening out there, if you're watching this and going like, how the hell am I ever going to catch up with this stuff? I'm right there with you. It's very it's sometimes it's infuriating in the best of ways to see how good that you must become, but at the same time, like, it's good to know that range and to understand how far it is that you must go. And isn't that the reason why we're here? Isn't that the reason why we love art? Is because nobody's the best at it. Everybody's learning. and everybody's growing. And if there's anybody on here that's learning more, it's these two guys that I know. Like I'm constantly sharing audiobooks with them. That's all about like optimal, like Olympic level mindsets and stuff. It's so cool. So yeah, it's just too much. And I'm keep turning into a circle jerk. Sorry. I can't help it. It's too awesome. Momo.
Go on, another question.
Yeah. One last question, I guess, and let's move into the book lottery. And then I think, yeah.
Let me see. What was the most rewarding piece of work you realized for the movie?
The most what?
Rewarding piece of work. Like which piece?
Yeah, let's start with Vitaly.
Well, as I said, I think the major skeleton that was hands down for me most rewarding, because that was kind of a dream for me to make like a robotic body from skeleton, all the muscles, but also it was like my favorite and probably most influential for me intellectual property, right? Which is Ghost in the Shell. So like that was for me. Yeah. What about you guys?
Yeah, man, I was a killer, dude. I was a fucking killer. I would say Geishas for me was, even though I honestly I haven't spent more than a couple of days on them, maybe 3-4 days in total, like exploring the ideas. But it was just like it felt like I did my best with the
Yeah,
Geishas.
that's super iconic work.
The project.
The final work and all the concept art is fucking awesome.
And I only worked on it 3. It's funny because you would ask like, oh, you only worked on it 3 days, and I only worked on it 3 days because they were approved right away. Like
Nice.
the email I got from director right after I've sent the files was, those geishas are off the hook, and that was it. Let's move on.
Yeah.
You're done.
Yeah.
This is done. Let's move on.
Yeah.
And then obviously they had to develop them a little further, especially with the robotics and mechanics, because majority of what you see on the screen is actually built practically. So Weta did amazing job translating, the sort of the initial designs with Weta, with production designers and also costume designers to actually, they did amazing job getting everything together and doing some extra work on it too. So
Yeah. Epic experience.
you have to give the shout out to those guys for
Yeah.
sure.
Hell yeah. Let's move on to the book raffle, and then let's wrap it up.
How about you, Ash? You didn't answer the question.
Well, yeah, I think I did. I mean, it's just like memorable piece that I contributed. Is that the question?
Most rewarding.
Most
Yeah,
rewarding.
most rewarding
piece.
stuff that you worked on.
Yeah, I think the bike. That's really what sparked. I think that's what sparked. That's what sparked.
Yeah,
the
bikes would be
school.
my second best.
Yeah, because I think it was just like, it was just a lot of fun, and that's what created the school in a sense. Not what created the school. That was the catalyst that activated the desire to create something together. So I'd say the books because of what it's created. So the bikes was created so far. So
No.
yeah, and there's many more, but yeah. So okay, so Momo, what's up with the who's getting these books and how are we getting them to them and all that good stuff?
So I have an application. They'll do they'll pick a winner randomly, and then I'm going to post my email, and you guys just send me your info. If you guys are on Slack or in the chat, email me your address, and we'll ship you the books.
There you go.
So the first winner is Water Shallow Here.
Water Shallow Here, first winner of a signed Ghost in the Shell art book. Who are you in the stream? If you are, come on and blow a kiss to us. Yes, the book.
There you go.
Awesome. So congratulations. Thanks for being here. We hope you enjoy the book as much as we did being a part of it. And thanks to you for being here. So yeah. Awesome.
Yeah, they are all gonna be signed by me, Vitaly, and Ash.
Yeah, we'll have
Yay.
yes, signed books. This is so cool. I'm really excited for this. I might draw a little baby penis in it, so
Yeah, I might do as well. We should actually cross those or get them touched the tip.
oh,
Just tip.
just
Damn,
oh,
son.
okay. Oh, just bloop, like put some ink on it and bloop. Okay, all right.
You did that triangle for the Ghost in the Shell, so each of the side should be a penis that
Oh,
we draw
okay.
independently.
The early version.
Oh man, this is too good. Okay, so that's the first winner. Very cool.
Yeah.
So, what was the name again? Just in case I missed it.
Water shallow here.
Water Shallow Here. Okay, well,
Yeah.
congratulations. Who's our second winner? We have 5 books. We're not just giving 1 or 3 away.
Christian Sun is the second winner. Christian Sun.
Christian
Yep.
Zun.
Congrats.
Where are you at,
Congrats.
Christian Zun? Are you in the chat right now? If you are,
Yeah, he is.
epic. There you go, man.
Sweet,
You're
sweet
getting a
book.
signed copy from the 3 of us of this book. Thank you for being here. So, awesome.
All right.
So that's number 2. Congratulations. Yeah. We shouldn't have gave away 5. This is
Slow.
taking a long time. Should just gave away 2 or something.
Data Demon.
Data Demon. There you
There
go.
you go.
Winner number 3, Data Demon.
Data
Awesome.
Demon.
Yes.
Data Demon.
Yes.
Congrats.
Yes. Awesome. Congratulations. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, congrats.
Yeah.
Just 1 second.
Vitaly's just gonna take them all himself. It's like I need. Why could I want all 5 books.
We're gonna send them to Vitaly
He's
to
gonna keep
sign,
them.
and he's just like, "Fuck you." I just keep them. Sell them on eBay.
Yeah. So that's number 3. Who's number 4?
Yeah. Kedzer. Kedzer is number 4.
Kedzer. How you spell that?
Tedzr.
Kedzer. There
Nice.
you go. Congratulations.
Congrats.
Congratulations. Awesome. Okay, and number 5. Who's the last ones? Who's the last one that's gonna win it? Drum roll, everybody. Everybody in the chat.
Momo
Everybody in the
Goods.
chat go crazy. Just go. I don't know. Just type stuff and hit the space bar and enter and just go nuts. Come on, let's see it.
Ivan Chevik.
Eventually.
Even Chevik. There you go.
There it is. There it is. There you guys go, man. Get a signed copy. So, yeah, epicness. So there you go, guys. Congratulations for winning the book, the signed copy. So, yeah, and thank you guys for being here. It's gonna be epic. Yeah, the chat's going berserk right now. Thank you guys. This is so funny. It's like raining, like just raining data. It's like the Ghost in the
So
Shell
guys-
title sequence.
Yeah, just send me an email at mohammed@learnsquared.com, MOHAMED.
Yeah.
I'd type it in the chat, but it's going so quick.
Yeah.
Send me an email, and yeah, you get to get a free book signed by these 3 people.
Yeah, give us some
I'll
time. We
make
have to
it
send it
back.
between us and sign it and then send it out. So just be patient with us too. So, yeah. I think there's one last thing to mention. I think that's it, right?
There's
2 things.
yeah, there's 2 things.
Okay, and then we're
exactly.
done. Then we're done. So one quick thing is we have new courses coming out. Michael Wrigley's coming out with the course. Can't talk about too many details, but it's going to be an amazing extension of his last class, which is incredibly epic. He's basically going to take everything that he made in stills and bring it into motion, which is going to be awesome. So keep an eye out for that. We're going to be doing a stream with that. It's going to break that class down. What else is there? Is there something else? Is there the Art of Business? We're constructing this thing for Art of Business right now. It's a big project that we've been working on. It's been coming from a lot of feedback we've gotten from the community and everybody that's a part of the community about like questions like how much should I charge? How should I do freelance? How do I deal with contracts? How do you do lawyers, NDAs, all that kind of stuff? We're basically going to be building a database for you guys to have information so that you guys can be the best equipped people in the industry so we could stop this like destruction of people's souls. So we're building this slowly, and so that's going to be a big thing. Momo, what else is there? Is there anything else? Maciej, Momo?
The coupon.
How many classes we have actually?
What,
We have
coming
like
up?
10. Yeah, we have like 10,
We're
right?
developing
that we're working on.
12 classes, I think, are in the works right now. So
Oh, 12. Yeah, there's quite a lot. It's taking a little bit, but we care for quality. So
yeah, exactly.
there you have it.
Yeah. So we have a lot of
And yeah,
classes
the
coming up.
coupon.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the
You
coupon.
want to talk about that?
Yeah, Momo, go ahead and drop the coupon, and then let's wrap it up.
Okay, so until April 23rd, you guys have 10% off by using the coupon G.I.T.S 2017. So, yep. Thanks to Vitaly, you get to have 10% off on any course you buy. There you
Yeah,
go.
Thanks, Vitaly. Yes, thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Very sweet of
Yeah, and thank you to everybody here. Thank you to
Yep.
Vitaly for. I know he's very busy, so thank you so much for your time and being here and being
Thanks,
a part
thanks
of
guys,
this.
so much for having me. Awesome. Good times.
Thanks for being a homie too, and
Awesome times, dude.
and just blowing me away all the time and getting me super excited about creating things. So,
Likewise. Yeah, thanks,
Maciej,
guys. Yeah.
and everybody out there that's wanting to dream of creating things and has energy to go out there and chase a dream, like we're no different from you guys. Go out there and do it and make amazing work and yeah, share it with everybody and have fun in the process. So
Do it.
yeah, that's it, guys.
Just do it.
Much love and congrats to all the winners of the book too. So you
Yep.
guys-
Congrats to the winners.
Yeah.
Thanks for showing up on the stream. It's by far the most epic one we've
Yes.
done so far.
It's crazy amount of
And
people here.
I'll personally see you guys tomorrow. I'm streaming, I believe, with Eitan, right?
Yeah.
Eitan Zana is joining us
Yep.
tomorrow.
It's gonna be awesome.
There you have
stream.
it.
So be there
We're gonna have a
tomorrow.
stream at 8 p.m. Pacific time because Eitan has to obviously work.
Cool.
So we're gonna do it nighttime, but yeah, feel free to join. We're gonna talk some cool stuff, and we'll see if we can get Vitaly's back here. 'Cause he seems to be interested.
Hell yeah. Thank you guys so much. Have a great day, everyone, and we'll talk to you guys later. Peace.
Thanks.
Peace.
Bye.
Peace, guys.
Bye.